What's up with it, y'all? It's your boy Rock Ali. That's ROCC Ali. If you don't know who I am, you can Google me. Type it right into Google. ROCC space Ali. You know what I'm saying? Man, I'm here today, man, to talk some boxing, man. It's probably my first boxing video that I'm gonna upload. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do many more. I don't know how frequently. Just something I wanted to do, you know, because I got a love for the sport. I'm 24. And you know, I've been watching the sport pretty much since I was about like, shit, 4. You know what I'm saying? 4 or 5 years old, so about 20 years. I've been watching the sport, so I figured, shit, why the hell not? I might as well make some videos, talk about it. Because there's a lot of people that talk about boxing, you know, that really don't know boxing. Or they like to act like they don't know boxing. I'm talking about a lot of people in the mainstream media, you know, you got your Jim Lampley's and stuff like that. They like to say a lot of stuff that just is out, is just crazy. You know what I mean? Crazy talk, pretty much. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of propaganda that's going on in the boxing world. So I feel like as the people, you know what I'm saying, we got to step up and combat some of the bullshit that's going on. And let's really, I want to talk about some of these upcoming fights before I get into a lot of politics, you know. And before I get into talking about a lot of politics in the boxing world, I want to talk about some of these upcoming fights, just some of the big ones. I really ain't gonna talk about like the, you know, any of the smaller fights or whatever. I'm gonna probably talk about the big ones coming up, like the Errol Spence versus Lamont Peterson. You got the Wilder Ortiz and all that, all those type of fights. Probably those type of fights. Matter of fact, that Errol Spence Lamont Peterson fight, man, that's a real good fight. That's a real good fight. And for one reason is because Lamont Peterson, I mean, I believe that he could possibly be a little underestimating this fight. I could see why people think that Errol Spence is gonna run. Some people think Errol Spence is just gonna run through Lamont Peterson, and it could happen. That very well could happen. But if the best version of Lamont Peterson shows up, that's probably not gonna happen. Or at least the version of Lamont Peterson that fought, like, let's say Danny Garcia. I really do think that version of Lamont Peterson, if the version of Lamont Peterson shows up, the one that fought Danny Garcia, he could give Errol Spence a lot of problems. Because in that fight, when Lamont Peterson, y'all go back and watch that fight. Go back and watch that fight. Even Danny Garcia admitted that he lost in that fight. If you go to YouTube after watching this video, go to YouTube and type in Danny Garcia versus Lamont Peterson. Watch. If you can watch the whole fight if you want, but if you just want to see the part I'm talking about, go to like 10 seconds before the video's about to end and just wait till like it's like the last two, it's like within the last 2 or 3 seconds of the video. Danny Garcia daps up Lamont Peterson and tells him, he said, I lost. Even after they gave him the decision. You know what I'm saying? So even Danny Garcia knew that he lost that fight. He probably won't admit it now, but that nigga knew that he lost that fight to Lamont Peterson. He knew that for a fact. Lamont Peterson boxed in that fight. He moved. He had good head movement. He had good foot movement. There was some times that he could have, you know, he let Danny Garcia do a little bit too much and he wasn't doing enough. But overall, Lamont Peterson was outboxing. He was making Danny Garcia look silly. Okay, he was making Danny Garcia look like an amateur at times. You know what I'm saying? It was times where Danny got some shots in or whatever like that, some good body shots or whatever. It was some times he got some shots in. But overall, Lamont Peterson was outboxing him for the first like half of the fight. And then in the second half in the fight or the latter part of the fight, he began to turn up the pace and land some real hard shots on him. You know, he kind of tired out Danny Garcia a little bit, and then he started to land some of his own heat and land some of his own shots. And at the end of that fight, I promise you, I was like, yo, damn. Danny Garcia first loss. That was his first loss. Before the judges gave their decision, I was like, I know where that's going. And then boom, Danny Garcia. That's why they call him Danny Gift Garcia. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's one of the reasons. You feel what I'm saying? I mean, that was a clear loss to me. But if that version, getting back to the Errol Spence Lamont Peterson fight, if that version shows up against Errol Spence, I'm not saying he's gonna be able to beat Errol Spence, But Lamont Peterson does possess more fundamentals than Errol Spence. I will say that. If you just look at them as boxers and you break down each one of their styles, okay, you look at Lamont Peterson. He can box, he can move, he can fight in the middle. You know what I'm saying? He can walk you down, he can brawl, he can do all those things. He has a lot of attributes. If you look at Errol Spence's attributes, he can walk you down, he's a power puncher, great body puncher, great at like kind of controlling distance or whatever. But he's a forward fighter. You rarely see, I can't remember, I haven't seen every Errol Spence fight, but the ones I have seen, I don't remember him like boxing off the back foot. And, you know, I'm not saying you have to do that to be a good fighter, but to be a great fighter, you have to be able to fight coming forward, move side to side. You have to be able to fight off the ropes. You know what I'm saying? This is why Floyd Mayweather, this is why Sugar Ray Leonard, this is why fighters like Muhammad Ali were so great, because they weren't one-trick ponies. You see what I'm saying? Errol Spence has to show me that he's not a one-trick pony. I want to see, because if you look at Errol Spence versus Kell Brook, in the beginning part, and I like Errol Spence, you know what I'm saying? But in the beginning part of the Kell Brook fight, he was getting outboxed. And I did call that. I said, listen, Kell Brook is going to give Errol Spence a lot of problems. He's not going to just come in there and run through no Kell Brook. I was telling people that. I was like, Kell Brook is gonna give him some problems. I was boxing with some, because I do box, you know what I'm saying? I'm not in the not a pro boxer, nothing like that, but I box for a hobby. You know, I know what I'm doing. You know, I done sparred a couple cats. I sparred a couple cats with some amateur pedigrees and some, I sparred this one guy, he had like 3 professional fights, nothing major. But I do box. I know what I'm doing, and I know what I'm talking. So I was just talking with somebody in the gym who boxes or whatever, amateur fighter, and he was like, yo, Errol Spence gonna run through Kell Brook. And I was telling him, I was like, Errol Spence may beat Kell Brook, but it's not gonna be easy. Because there's no way. I was like, Kell Brook can box, he can move, and that's gonna give. And all I've seen Errol Spence do is the high guard and just walk you down. You know, he bops in the jab out, and he'll go to the body, throw some hooks or whatever. He'll bops in that jab, bop, and then he'll whop, and then he looking for that body. But he needs a stationary target. One thing I noticed about Errol Spence is he needs a stationary target to get off those combos. He needs a stationary target. You feel what I'm saying? I haven't seen, like when Kell Brook was moving and going to the body, he was stepping in, jabbing to the body and giving them sharp 1-2s and then stepping back out of position. That was giving Errol Spence all of the problems in the world. That was giving him some problems. It was giving him some problems. And Kell Brook did say, he said, Errol Spence didn't beat me. He said, I beat myself. He said, my eye wore out. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, that's no excuse. Errol Spence won the fight. And I'm proud of Errol Spence. I'm proud of the black American for winning the fight. So at the end of the day, it's not nothing like, you know what I'm saying, no hate towards Errol Spence. I'm proud when black American fighters show their skills and display the talent that they've been displaying since boxing was around. You know what I'm saying? And that's one thing I won't do. I won't hate on Errol Spence. I'm not hating on Errol Spence at all. You feel what I'm saying? I like Errol Spence, and he's a dog. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm not picking Lamont Peterson to beat Errol Spence. I'm not really picking in this fight, but I'm favoring Errol Spence. I'm favoring him, but I'm favoring him because of Lamont Peterson's age now. He hasn't been too active, you know, like he was in the past. So I don't know if I have to see it, man. I just have to see it. I don't know if he's still as sharp as I know he's not as sharp as he was, you know. No fighter can beat Father Time. You know, of course he's not as sharp as he was maybe 5 years ago or whatever, but his experience, Lamont Peterson, I don't think he's done or nothing like that. Like his experience, if he comes in, man, 100%, it's going to be a tough fight. And it could possibly be a fight of the year type fight, because I've seen Lamont Peterson bang. You feel what I'm saying? Like, that boy will box, but that boy will bang. Lamont Peterson has great body work too. And he got that side-to-side movement, you know what I'm saying, that he'll hop from side to side and bang that drum. You feel what I'm saying? So it's gonna be a great fight. It's gonna be a great fight. And what else, man? What else we gonna talk about, man? Because I really ain't picking nobody in that fight, man. You know what I mean? I'm really not picking nobody in that fight. Now in the Wilder Ortiz fight, Wilder Ortiz, I'm picking Wilder. You feel what I'm saying? And I'm picking Wilder. I'm running with Wilder. I've been telling people about Wilder. A lot of people look at Wilder and they say, man, Wilder, man, he's sloppy, man. He's sloppy, dude. He you know, he this, he that. He throw windmill Wilder and he's overrated. He a paper champion. At the end of the day, I'm looking at this. Wilder's calling these dudes out. Wilder been calling these dudes out. Let's be real. I mean, how many people failed a drug test with Wilder? Cut the bullshit. Cut all the other shit out. Let's deal with straight facts. How many motherfuckers failed a drug test with Wilder in the past year and a half, 2 years? Three or four motherfuckers came up positive for some type of PED. Now, come on now. Y'all, and then people still gonna sit back and blame this man. You feel what I'm saying? I done seen people in comment sections, I done seen people who make videos say, oh, Wilder, it's Wilder's fault that the Ortiz fight didn't happen last time. Like, really, bro, come on, bro. Seriously, that man came out of his pocket to pay for drug tests, because doing these drug tests, these random drug tests ain't free. A lot of people don't know that. The fighters got to pay for that. So Wilder gonna come out of his own pocket, just like Floyd used to do. You know, Floyd, he want drug tests, you got to pay for that. You feel what I'm saying? So Wilder's willing to come out of his own pocket to pay for extra drug testing. You know what I'm saying? And then this man gets caught, Ortiz get caught with something in the system, and then y'all blame Wilder for the fight not happening. We already know what that is. We already know what that is. But we ain't even got to talk about that right now. We're going to get into the fight. You feel what I'm saying? Because I really don't even have no extreme breakdown for this fight. Luis Ortiz, from what I've seen from him, I mean, I've seen Luis Ortiz look very sharp to the point where I'm like, okay, that boy right there, like, it was one fight. I can't remember who he was fighting. But Luis Ortiz was fighting, and I was watching him fight. And I was like, he's very sharp. He's definitely up there in the level where he's the one that's going to give Joshua and Wilder the most problems, or possibly the one that could beat them. That's really the only heavyweight that I've seen at the moment that was, you know, could challenge Joshua and Wilder. This was about 2 years ago. Can't remember who he was fighting. But I was like, okay, this is the one right here that's going to be it. Because I already knew Joshua. When I first heard of Joshua, and I already knew him and Wilder was going to be on the collision course eventually, because of Joshua's, the way they was boosting him up and the way his fame was rising real fast. I was like, okay, he gonna end up fighting Wilder. You know what I'm saying? Eventually. But I was seeing Luis Ortiz, he was always in the mix, and he was sharp, you know what I'm saying? But I think Wilder's going to end up stopping him in the latter rounds. Luis Ortiz is old, man. We really don't even know how old he is. I think he's in his 40s. He was getting outboxed by Malik Scott, a guy that Wilder just took out in like, what, 1 or 2 rounds. Now, we know styles make fights. That don't mean that, you know, that don't mean that Ortiz is going to get taken out like Malik Scott. But I'm just saying, we know styles make fights. But at the end of the day, bro, I just think Wilder's speed and his athleticism and his how unorthodox he is. You feel what I'm saying? Because he ain't coming at you with no regular, like, people won't talk about windmill Wilder. But what happens when those windmills land? Because we do see Wilder land those haymakers. You feel what I'm saying? Like, he throw haymakers. Yeah, Wilder just whoop. Wilder throw haymakers, but they land. He's not a real, you know, tight tight, you know, real tight fighter or nothing like that. He's not like a